Well, I train people in neuro-linguistic programming, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. By the way, for more information about NLP and to see something very special, go to statbrook.com/NLP. But today I'm going to be talking about the MAP for NLP. The MAP is mirroring, anchoring, and pacing, MAP. These are the basics of NLP, of neuro-linguistic programming. So I'm going to share with you how you can apply this to your life, how you can enhance your life by using NLP, the benefits that you're going to derive from using it. Now, as a hypnotherapist, I'm always looking for ways that I can improve the help that I offer people. I want to enhance people's lives. So I incorporate life coaching, I incorporate neuro-linguistic programming, and of course, hypnotherapy. But today we're going to focus on one of those aspects, which is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. So let's go ahead and check in and see who we have. Liliana, hello to you. Ida, hello. Rania, hello from Egypt. All right. Jesus, hello to you. Beth, hello, and happy Saturday to you too from Wisconsin. Special broadcast today. I'm usually not broadcasting on Saturday, but something very special is going on right now. You can find out about it by going to statbrook.com/NLP, because today's broadcast is all about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. And we have a lot of people joining us. Mariella, hello to you. Francisca, hello. Andrea says hi from Washington State. All right. Gregory Dwyer, hello from New York. All right. Charlie says hello from Minnesota. People from all over joining in, and you're in for a real treat. And you can find out more about this at the link I've put above, statbrook.com/NLP. Brenda, hello to you. We're going to talk about the MAP, MAP, mirroring, anchoring, and pacing, that really is the essence of neuro-linguistic programming. So let's go ahead and jump in. I want to share with you this powerful technology. So first of all, what is mirroring? When we talk about neuro-linguistic programming and we talk about the ideas behind it, one of the main things that comes to people's mind is mirroring. And mirroring is actually very straightforward. Now again, you can follow along and find out more about it at the link above, but mirroring is something that gives you the benefit of having someone feel that they are in rapport with you. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and maybe it didn't go so well, things weren't syncing up, and maybe they had hobbies that you didn't have, and they had interests and knowledge that you didn't have, and just nothing was really syncing up? That happens a lot to people. Unfortunately, when it happens in a business situation or in a dating situation, then we have a challenge, because it's difficult to allow things to advance beyond that. So mirroring allows you to push through that. So what is mirroring? Well, mirroring is simply doing something like the other person. Now, when you're mirroring someone, you want to be aware of how you look in a mirror. It's interesting, when you look at yourself in a mirror, if you raise your left hand, well, what does the person in the mirror raise? They raise their right hand, because the mirror image of yourself is reversed. So keep that in mind when you're mirroring. Mirroring means doing things in a similar way to the other person. So so let's say, scratch the back of their head with one hand. Well, you would scratch the back of your head with the opposite hand. And by the way, when you're doing this, when you're using this technique, you don't want to do it exactly when they're doing it or exactly like they're doing it, because that's called mimicry, and mimicry causes challenges. If someone thinks you're mimicking them or making fun of them, well, that's no good. But mirroring is something that allows you to establish rapport. The benefit of establishing rapport is that the person you're talking to will see themselves as being similar to you. So this increases your chances of furthering the relationship, business relationship, personal relationship, whatever kind of relationship you're working on. So when we talk about mirroring, We're talking about doing things similarly to the way someone else is doing them, but not at the exact time, in the exact way. For example, if they scratch the back of their head like this, well, you may want to wait a little while, just a few seconds, delay it, and you can do it something like this, a little differently. Not doing it exactly like them, but at the same time doing what they are doing. Now, in a little bit, we're going to talk about pacing, which is more advanced. It's a more advanced form of mirroring, you could say. It's mirroring part 2. But all of this information is available, plus we have something wonderful going on right now that you really need to check out at statbrook.com/NLP, so you'll want to check that out. And let's go ahead and check in, see who we have. Nadia says, beautiful. All right. Iva says, hello from Germany. Nice to see you. Well, nice to see you too, Iva. Maricela says, nice to see you. Come to Miami. All right. Well, I was just down in, was it Palm Beach about a month ago. Linda says, I'm happy to work this late night so I can listen to the best doctor. Well, thank you, Linda. That's very sweet of you. Annie says, why can't you talk to me like a normal man? Okay, well, that's very interesting, Annie. And this is a forum in which I'm talking to people about how to use hypnosis. So thank you for being part of our community and our forum. And this is an educational forum where I'm going to share with you some information about neuro-linguistic programming. So thank you for being here, Annie. Michelle says MAP, absolutely, MAP, mirroring, anchoring, pacing, and equates to decisions that can potentially affect the world for years to come. Absolutely, very well put. And I'm sharing with you today the map of NLP, how to use NLP, mirroring, anchoring, and pacing. Adriana says, Germany says, happy Saturday and smile. All right, very good, thank you. And Jolanta says, hello, Steve. Yola, all right. Andrea says, hi from Australia. All right. Well, thank you, Andrea, for being here. Thank you all for being here. And Carmen says, hello, Dr. Steve. Well, hello to you too, Carmen. And today I'm sharing with you something from the point of view of a person who's an educator. My doctorate is in education, so I'm sharing something with you about NLP from the standpoint of a classroom, if you will. So that's why we're using this format. And let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about mirroring as we see more people coming in. Melinda, hello to you. Melinda is in Hungary. Deborah, hello from Florida. All right, hello to you, Deborah. So in mirroring, keep in mind, we want to do things that are similar to the person we're talking to. So, for example, we may have a situation in which we're in an interview. Very common situation. We may find ourselves in an interview and we're talking to the person and we really wish that we would be able to share with them how amazing we are, how wonderful and amazing we are. And when we do that, we are going to find that things go better. So in an interview situation, you may find yourself thinking, how can I get across the idea that I'm a wonderful person? I would be great for this job. I would be absolutely amazing. How can I share this idea with someone? Well, the way that we would do that is by using mirroring. Mirroring is a wonderful technique that can be used in any situation, and when we're in an interview situation, we find that it works extremely well. So let's take a look at it. How would this work? We would, first of all, find ourselves observing the person we're talking with. We're observing the person we're talking with. We're watching them. We're seeing what they do. We're seeing how they interact with the world. We're seeing how they present themselves. We're watching for what they do. So they may make little movements, little gestures. I mentioned scratching the back of the head. They may scratch their nose. They may hold their head in a certain way. They may scratch their body. They may do all kinds of things. We're observing them. We're watching those things. And as we're watching those things, we're figuring out how we can do something similar to them. So if we see them scratching here, well, we can do the same thing. Now remember, we want to do it as a mirror image. So if they're using their right hand, we want to use our left hand, and vice versa. So we appear to them as if we're someone in a mirror, as if they're looking at themselves in a mirror. That is mirroring. Now you may say, what is the point of that? Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do something like the person who's interviewing me? What's the benefit of it? Well, the benefit is that in their subconscious mind, they're going to see you as being similar to them. And once they see you as being similar to them, they are going to feel rapport with you. Now, the importance of rapport is that it allows you to move things to the next level. So you're in an interview, having challenges, and then you're using mirroring and you're able to establish this connection. Suddenly it's not as awkward anymore. Let's think about another situation. How about talking to the parents of someone you're interested in? So you're having that potentially awkward conversation with the father of someone you're interested in, or the mother of someone you're interested in, and looking for that opportunity to establish rapport. Well, if you want to do it in a quick and easy way, then you can use mirroring. Using mirroring bypasses all of the small talk, so you don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, can I figure out a common thing we're both interested in? Can I figure out something that we both share in common? You know, looking for these things and probing for these things can be extremely awkward. So the way to get around this, the way to bypass this, is by using mirroring. So mirroring is something that's going to come into play, and it's going to allow you to establish rapport. It's going to allow you to link with them, to have a connection with them. And when you do that, you're going to find that things go more smoothly. So that's mirroring. And by the way, if you have any questions about this, go ahead and feel free to ask. Also, go ahead and check this out, statbrook.com/NLP. You're going to find something absolutely amazing there, statbrook.com/NLP. You're going to really see something amazing. And what I want you to realize is that if you focus on mirroring someone, your life is going to be more enhanced. Your life is going to be absolutely more smooth if you're able to harness this technology and use this technology. And you're going to find that things just flow for you. Things really move along smoothly for you. That's what you're going to discover. And I did notice that we have a person on this chat who likes to put the angry face, and that's very interesting. And I want to encourage everyone watching, rather than mirroring this person who is unfortunately doing that, and if my tech team could go ahead and handle that, that would be great. But rather than mirroring this person, how about let's show some love to counteract that in this case? So mirroring isn't always the best thing. In every case, sometimes we want to show love and thumbs up to counteract this negativity. And when we talk about the law of attraction, I believe that we can overcome negativity of this nature when we do things like that. So let's go ahead and counteract that. And thank you for pointing that out. Always good to see interaction. But I prefer positive interaction. I want things to be positive here. I want things to be positive and powerful. And thank you. I see them coming in now. I see the hearts and the thumbs up, and that's outstanding, because that's what we're about here. We're about helping each other, caring for each other. We're about sharing and growing. Those are the types of things we're about. So the person who's putting the angry face on there, we'll invite you to do that somewhere else. And we'll invite you to to let us continue on with our forum and learning and growing together, because that's what we're all about here. So let's go ahead and take any questions that may be here. And let's see, Brenda says, what about talking on the phone? How does it work for that? Well, great question, Brenda. And when you're doing something like that, that's more in the realm of pacing. So I'm going to get to that in a little bit, because pacing allows you to have access to a lot more things. So essentially, when you're mirroring someone on the phone, the only thing you'll be able to mirror would be their tone of voice and their rate of voice. But we put those things more into pacing, so we'll get to that. And Tiffany says, hello. All right. Liliana says, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Okay. Ho'oponopono. Excellent reference. Thank you very much. And thank you all for the love and support that I'm seeing now, the thumbs up and the hearts. And Tashima says, much love. Absolutely. And that's what the law of attraction is all about, actually. Countering the negativity, which we're seeing here in real time, with positive things, with positive ideas, with love. There we go. Look at all the love, countering the negativity. Excellent. I'll have to do a class soon on the law of attraction and how we can do this in our everyday lives, how we can bring positive things into our everyday lives. And I'm sure that my tech team is on that right now, because they are watching, and they can, of course, deal more directly with any negativity. So I want to thank you all for being here and being in this positive environment that we always foster. Look at all the hearts. Wonderful, wonderful. So the person having a negative day, who feels the need to put negative things on there, look at all the positivity that's coming now, coming your way, hopefully helping you feel that, hopefully raising your vibration, hopefully allowing you to feel better about yourself. All right, let's go ahead and check in, see who we have. Fatima says, hello from Manas, Brazil. Hello to you, Fatima. Vanessa says, where can I learn more in NLP? Well, right here. I'd like everyone to go there right now, even if it means stepping away from the broadcast. But Statbrook, STATBROOK, statbrook.com/NLP. That's where you're going to find out how to learn NLP. And there's a special offer there. So go now while you're watching this broadcast. It is time sensitive. I want you to check that out. Francisca says, I thank you very much, dear Dr. Steve. You are great. Well, thank you, Francisca. Ida says, turn that frown upside down, angry face. And then she puts a smiley face and a heart. Excellent. And Deanna says, hello from Toronto. All right. Wonderful to see you. Toronto being a wonderful place. Tiffany says, took a screenshot of the site on my phone. All right. Charlie says, is mirroring just as effective when talking to a longtime friend or partner, or is it only effective when meeting or talking to someone for the first time? Well, it's effective both ways. It's probably more effective if they don't know you yet, because they don't know how you normally talk, Charlie. Because if you normally talk one way and act one way and then suddenly it's different, they're going to notice that distinction. They're going to notice that difference. So I would say it's more effective with someone you haven't talked to yet, but you're going to be able to use it anyway. You just have to probably be more subtle about it. So thank you for that question. Great question. Jolanta says, what a great class. Well, thank you very much. And to learn NLP, just go here. I've also posted the link in the description, which is statbrook.com/NLP. Tashima says, I'm going to take your instructor class. Okay, absolutely wonderful. This is where it all starts, with learning the basics of NLP, and then you learn a little bit more, and then you can become an instructor. So we have someone who has gone the distance. So Tashima, thank you so much. But it all starts right here, and then you can move on. Andrea says, yes, would love law of attraction. Thank you for giving us your time and info. Love from Australia. Well, thank you. Michelle says, hope the negative person will learn something positive from this discussion. Absolutely. You know, they say there's one in every crowd. So hopefully we will overwhelm them with our love and our support and our community that is designed around helping people and helping them move forward. And Thornton says, hello and thank you for the chance to study NLP It works in crisis recovery ministry. Excellent, excellent. I used to be a preacher myself, so thank you for being here, Thornton. We really appreciate that. Well, let's go ahead and move on and talk about the A in the MAP, MAP. We're going to talk about anchoring now. So anchoring is something that you can use very effectively when you want to just really tap into that inner power that you have. When you really want to tap into who and what you are, you can use anchoring for that. And when you use anchoring, here's what you're doing. You're creating an association between two things. Sort of like, well, very much like, because this is where the technology comes from, very much like Pavlov's dogs. Pavlov was the Russian scientist who, by the way, his parents wanted him to be a priest, and he decided to be a behavioral psychologist instead. And I think we're very thankful for that, because he gave us a lot of great information by following that career. And so in anchoring, we're doing something similar to what Ivan Pavlov did with his dogs. We're taking something and connecting it to something else. So in this case, what we're doing is we are taking the idea that you are creative or confident or powerful or motivated or self-sufficient or loving or caring or beautiful or wonderful, whatever it is that you want to feel about yourself. And we're setting those feelings equal to or triggered by something that you do. So let me explain how this works. I'll give you a step-by-step tutorial here. And by the way, a lot more information here at statbrook.com, and your opportunity to learn NLP for just go there and trust me, you're going to be amazed at what you see. So when we talk about anchoring, we want to have those feelings. We want to have the feeling of confidence or motivation or tap into our creativity or, be the best person we can be in that moment. And so when you set some action and some words as being something that will trigger that for you, then you've harnessed the power of anchoring. So it works like this. I want you now, if you're not driving or doing anything, if you're not riding a bike or driving or anything, I want you now to think of a time when you felt confident. Just think of a time when you felt good about yourself. Now, realize that confidence is not necessarily the idea of, oh, I'm going to conquer the world and I'm so tough and so mean and things like that. Confidence, on the other hand, is that calmness inside to know that everything is okay. Confidence is the ability to feel that everything's running smoothly. Confidence is the ability to feel that you are okay and that you are complete. And we see the lack of that in the person with the angry face. We see a lack of that. We see a person who's not calm inside, who's not feeling confident, who's not at peace with themselves. So I invite that person in particular to take part in this activity. Because when we feel confident inside, we don't need to act like a bully, or we don't need to be disruptive. We don't need to make negative displays. We don't need to draw negative attention to ourselves. We don't need to do things that are disruptive. We find ourselves instead, and by the way, thank you everyone for all the love and the thumbs up. I think that's outstanding. We find ourselves instead in a situation where we're calm inside and we can get things done. So think about that time now. Hopefully, in my talking, you've been able to think about a time when you felt very confident, and confident in the way I've described it, as being calm inside, feeling good about yourself, feeling good about who you are and what you are. So as you think about that time right now when you felt confident, what I'd like you to do is go ahead and make the OK sign with one of your hands. Just make the OK sign. Doesn't matter which hand, just make the OK sign. Touch the tip of your index finger to the tip of your thumb as you think about being confident. And say the word out loud, confidence. Confidence, good. So what have you done now? Well, you've anchored confidence. So now the next time you need to feel confident, all you have to do is make the okay sign with that same hand, say the word confidence, and you will feel confident. Now, I invite you to use this later. I invite you to do some homework here and to use this later. And what I'd like you to do is when you're alone and relaxed later on, think about a time when you were really confident. I mean, even beyond what you just used. Think about a time when you're really, really confident. You were really tuned into yourself. And go ahead and make the okay sign with your right hand and say the word confidence to yourself. But before you do it, really get yourself in that confident state. Really get yourself to the point where you are feeling absolutely confident. And what does this mean? Well, this means that you are going to create in your mind a picture of that moment. You are going to tune in to the sights and the sounds and the smells and how your clothes felt on your body, how the atmosphere felt. You're going to tune into everything that's auditory, everything you can hear in the environment, everything that's visual, everything that you can see, everything that's kinesthetic that relates to your body moving or the feeling of the temperature of your clothes. And then you're going to anchor it. Then you're going to make the okay sign with your hand and say the word confidence. That's going to anchor, that's going to really set that anchor as being powerful. And by the way, you can stack anchors also. You can think of other times in your life when you were confident and do the same procedure. Get yourself in that state where you remember it and you feel like you're there. Make the okay sign and say the word confidence. So the next time that you're in a situation where you need confidence, all you have to do is make that okay sign with that same hand and say the word confidence. And you are there. So again, that's something you can learn more about right now at statbrook.com/NLP. If anyone's interested in learning NLP and becoming certified in NLP, we've got something very, very special for you right now. Check that out. And let's go ahead and scroll and see what kind of questions we have. If anyone's just joining, by the way, go ahead and like this video if you would. Go ahead and share this video. I think those buttons are down here. And go ahead and subscribe so you'll know when I'm on next and you can ask your questions. This is a special broadcast, a special Saturday broadcast. Normally I'm on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I will, of course, be on this coming week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, to answer your questions, usually about hypnosis. But today we're talking about NLP. And let's see, Thornton says, hello, and thank you for the chance to study NLP. It works in crisis recovery ministry. All right, I read that. Thank you, Thornton. Brenda says, hello, Steve. What do you say on the subject of NLP versus individual psychology? Well, those are different realms. The world of psychology is a mainstream study. My undergraduate degree from the University of Florida and some of my graduate study when I was at the University of Florida in the graduate program in counseling, those studies are about psychology. The rest of my education is in education because more so I'm interested in teaching now. But I will say this, Barbara, the world of NLP is extra academic, meaning it's outside of mainstream academia. So when you look at universities and colleges, you're going to find that they probably don't teach NLP, or if they do, maybe it's just mentioned in the class. Highly unlikely there'd be a class on it at a university or a college. It's possible, but not likely because it's outside of academia. Psychology is within academia, and they're licensed psychologists. So you're going to find that they are two completely different worlds, and comparing them can be a bit of a challenge, but I would say they're both very powerful in their own way and very helpful. Janine says, hi, Steve, how are you doing? Doing great, thank you. Kathy says, hello, hello to you. And Gina, hello to you. And Tilly says, thanks for the tutorial, you are welcome. Kalmar says, Texas internet is like sending SOS. Steve G. Jones, have you visited my Facebook and read posts about you? No, I have not, but thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here and sharing, and I am always glad to see people here. Tiffany, hello to you. Gabby, hello to you. Anna says, hi, Dr. Steve, glad to see you. What a nice surprise. Well, you too. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate everyone being here. And who else do we have? Anna, hello to you. Glad to see you. All right, nice surprise. Absolutely. Good to see everyone here. Michelle says the most confident person may come across as unassuming, but is quite capable of taking on the world. I completely agree. Jolenta says, thank you so much for the special broadcast. My pleasure. We're talking about NLP. Got something special for you. So if you want to learn NLP, go over to statbrook.com/NLP. But we're talking about the MAP of NLP today. And so far we've covered mirroring, anchoring, and next we're going to deal with pacing. Anna says, hello to you, Anna. Gracie says, or could be through continuing education. Yes, people can learn NLP through continuing education. Very good point. Tashmara says, is CHT different from NLP? Yes. CHT stands for Clinical Hypnotherapist. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. But oftentimes a CHT will use NLP. A clinical hypnotherapist will use Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And thank you for your question. Michelle says, sometimes confidence can be gained through getting through unscathed from a difficult situation when we come out of something both bigger and stronger. I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. By the way, need some more positivity to counteract the negativity here. Let's show everyone what a loving community this is, how we join together to counteract negativity. And we are all about applying the law of attraction here so that we can have a higher vibration rather than a lower vibration. So it's good to see the hearts and the thumbs up, the pouring out of love that we have here in this community. Thank you so much. I see that now. Carmen says, I appreciate to be here today, Dr. Steve. Well, my absolute pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about pacing. Somebody asked a question earlier about pacing, and we're finally there. We talked about mirroring. That's when you do things like someone else, and thank you for all the love and the thumbs up. I really appreciate that, everyone, just showing how much support we have and how much love we have here in this community. We talked about mirroring. That's doing things like someone else to establish rapport, moving like them, sometimes talking like them, even though, as I said, that gets more into pacing that we're going to talk about next. Anchoring is something that you can use to anchor yourself for creativity. Remember, we made the OK sign, and we talked about confidence, and then you can fire that off whenever you need to. And thank you. I see the love and the thumbs up still pouring in. Love you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. And so when we're talking about anchoring, we're creating an anchor that we can use later to be confident, to be motivated, to be creative, to be whatever we need to be. We can use it for that. Now, pacing. What is pacing? Well, pacing is something very interesting. Pacing is something that's what I call the next level of mirroring. Pacing is when you've been mirroring someone for a while and you are then incorporating different subtleties that are like a more advanced form of mirroring. And the next step of pacing, by the way, would be leading, but that's something you can check out at statbrook.com/NLP if you want to learn NLP. The next step would be leading. So mirroring, pacing, and then leading all form a nice set, a nice logical flow. So in pacing, I'm doing something like the other person, except in a far more subtle way. For example, have you noticed on some people you can see in their carotid artery their pulse? Or maybe you can see it somewhere in their head, or maybe you can see it on their arm somewhere. In some people you can see their pulse. You can see one of their arteries moving every time their heart pumps blood. And so that becomes very useful. When we're talking about pacing, we're talking about more advanced concepts like that, like observing that. Let's say that you could see my heartbeat right now, my carotid artery, and you could see this thump, thump, thump. Every now and then you see movement. You may think, well, that's just movement. What can I do with it? You can use pacing to establish rapport. Remember, I said it's a more advanced form of mirroring. So when you use pacing, think about this. You've got the thump, thump, thump going that you're observing, and let's say you're sitting somewhere and your hand is in an obvious place to them. Maybe you're in a bar and it's on a counter, or maybe you're in the interview and your hand is obvious. I wouldn't cross your arms in an interview and do it this way, but maybe your hand is on your lap. And so when your hand starts moving at the same rate of speed as the person's pulse, you are then pacing them. Now, this is a fairly advanced form of even pacing, but this is the type of thing I'm talking about, and this allows us, it creates the benefit of allowing us to establish rapport, which allows us to get somewhere with that person. We're in an interview, we're at a date, we're working on getting a business contract signed, we're negotiating something, we're having a discussion about something, we've got a point of view we would like to move forward with. And we're running up against a brick wall. We're talking to them and it's really not working out. Well, now we can apply these subtleties such as mirroring and pacing. So again, mirroring is doing things like someone. They scratch the back of their head. A little bit later, you scratch the back of your head in a somewhat similar way. Not at the exact same time and not at the exact same way. In pacing, we're getting more subtle about it. We're looking for things like pulse. And we're not going to make our pulse move the same way because that would require years of study. We'd have to become a yogi and so forth. But what we can do in the moment that anyone can do is watch that pulse, bump, bump, bump. Notice the pace of it for pacing. And then we can move our hand, bump, 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 or move something else. So we're able to match where they are. That creates a subconscious connection between us and them. It establishes rapport, allows us to move forward with them. How else can we use pacing? Well, if they're talking at a certain pace. So they're talking, let's say they're talking at this pace, and they're kind of talking quickly, and they're talking too quickly for a lot of people to understand them. Well, we wouldn't want to pace them exactly, because remember when I talked about mirroring, you don't want to look like you're mimicking someone, because that's mockery and that's negative. People don't like being mimicked and mocked. What they do respond to subconsciously is mirroring and pacing. So if they're talking in a quick way like this, and you notice they're talking like this, and you don't normally talk like this, you can talk a little bit more quickly than you normally would. People who tend to talk quickly, also psychologically, tend to relate better to people who talk more quickly, and people who talk more slowly tend to relate to people who talk more slowly. So here we are actually combining some psychology with NLP, and a lot of NLP is based on psychology because the people who created NLP were very big fans of psychology. So when you pace someone, you can pace their voice, the speed at which that they're talking. You can also pace to some degree the pitch. So if they have something, again, in extreme cases, you really need to pull back on this. So if they talk like this and you're thinking of pacing them, don't do it. Okay? And if they talk like this and you normally don't talk like this and you're thinking of pacing them, don't do it. So when you go to those extremes, it's going to be obvious. If you normally don't talk with a high voice and you're suddenly doing it, you normally don't talk with a low voice and you're suddenly doing it, what's that? That's silly, that's mimicry. I'm seeing the laughing faces. Yeah, it's funny stuff. And it's not helpful in developing rapport. So you want to move a little lower. If you're a person who normally has a slightly higher voice and they have a very deep voice, like a Barry White voice, almost very, very deep, well, you don't want to go that low, especially if it would be very uncomfortable and abnormal and very obvious for you to do that. But what you do want to do is move your voice a little bit lower or a little bit higher, depending on what's going on. So you can match the frequency with which they speak very quickly or very slowly. You can match it to some degree, and you can match their pitch, very high or very low. But you don't match it exactly. You don't go to those extremes when you notice an extreme. Okay, so we have examples of pacing. What else can you pace? Well, pacing has got a lot of territory, a lot of room to explore. Let's say you notice someone breathing in a certain way. I'm exaggerating, of course. People normally don't breathe like this, but just so you can hear it. Okay, so you can hear the pace at which I'm breathing. Sort of Darth Vader-ish, I guess. But I want you to be able to hear it. So it's like 1, 2, 1, 2. That's a pace. Or we can just count the in-breaths. 1, 1, 1, 1, counting every time I breathe. So that develops a rhythm. A rhythm. What can we do with that rhythm? The same thing we did with the pulse that we noticed on their neck when we were tapping to the pulse in rhythm with the pulse. Now we can do something else with that. Perhaps you want to get really creative with it and get into advanced NLP and talk in a way that's pacing their breath. So if this is the rhythm of their breath, and then I change the rhythm of the way I'm talking because I want to match the rhythm of their breath, then you see how I'm talking now. So I did that in a very extreme way to point it out, but you see now how you can adjust the way that you're talking to actually create a rhythm or a pace. That's what pacing is. Again, what's the advantage of this? What's the benefit? Why would we do this? Because it allows us to establish rapport with the person. And when we have rapport, then we have access to that subconscious link between us and them. In fact, in their mind, it's no longer me and you, it's us. It's a system that works together. There's that rapport there. They feel that they are similar to you. And with that, you can get things done. You can get things done in business. You can get things done in dating. You can get things done in your everyday life. Without it, you may find yourself floundering in certain situations. Now, if you want to learn more about this, and if you want to get certified in this, I have a very special offer going on. Check it out. It's time sensitive, so go ahead and check it out. If you want to learn NLP and you're very interested in studying it, whether just for yourself to just know more, because in the program, I've got 10 hours of video. So imagine you've learned quite a bit in this about 40 minutes that I've been talking or so. Imagine 10 hours of pure information. That's what's up here. That's what's waiting for you. So check it out, statbrook.com/NLP, and we've got something very special for you right now. You're not going to be taken advantage of price-wise. You're going to get something more than fair. So check it out. All right, let's go ahead and check in, see who we have. I'm getting ready to wrap up. I've got some other wonderful programs that I had the honor of creating today. So let's go ahead and take any last questions and wrap up. And let's see. Carmen says, hello. Hello to you. Andrea says, in general, what is the purpose of NLP? Hopefully I've made that clear, but the purpose is to help yourself or help others enhance their lives through mostly, NLP is a very large body of information, but mostly by creating associations. You're creating association between the person you're talking to and yourself. That subconscious link we call rapport. You're creating an association between doing this and saying confidence and being confident. You're creating an association between yourself and someone else by pacing them. So in its essence, that's what it is, but it's become a very robust body of knowledge and well worth looking into. But check out the link above if you want to learn more about it. And Rania says, is it okay to use different techniques together? Absolutely, absolutely. Depends on which techniques and how you're combining them. Again, you'll want to get some proper training before you do that, but absolutely you can. I've gone a little bit advanced today with some of the more advanced pacing techniques, but I hope you enjoyed that. Scott has joined. Hello to you. And Andrea says, how would learning NLP benefit myself and others? You are going to, I believe I already answered that, but you're going to learn how to get through life very quickly and efficiently. Get to, I shouldn't say through life, but get from point A to point B, get where you want to go a lot more quickly and a lot more efficiently, and you're going to have a lot more fun doing it because NLP is a very powerful body of knowledge, and the creators of it were very much in tune with reality, with how people are, so they created it to be something that's very user-friendly. Michelle says, okay, Steve, I will give you a positive applying MAP. All right, that's mirroring, anchoring, and pacing. Says, can be the positive formula for love, and if looking through political eyes, peace in a war-torn country if not for love. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Michelle, for being here. And thank you for sharing that. Jolenta says, Steve, you are hilarious. All right. So probably in my high pitch and low pitch explanations. Fatima says, Dr. Steve G. Jones, I thank you for this wonderful stream. My Amazon thank especially city of Manaus in Brazil. My dear, thank you. You are welcome, Fatima. Thank you for being here. Pam says, hi, Dr. Steve. Thanks for the extra broadcast. I knew about mirroring and anchoring, but am fascinated about pacing. Obviously needs quite a lot of subtlety. Yes, that's something that's slightly more advanced, but very powerful. Brenda says, hi, Dr. Steve. Hello to you. Michelle says, Steve, can I ask you a silly question? Of course. Was that writing in the background written in mirror to show correct on cam? I notice on cam you show a predominantly as left-handed, and I know you're right-handed. Just as left-hander, the writing looks kind of left-handed. Sorry if that's distracting from the topic. Michelle, that's a great question. And for anyone who's doing Facebook Live broadcasts, if you want, yes, that is, I did have to write that backwards so it would display forward. That's something I just figured out a couple hours ago, because when you do a Facebook Live broadcast, if you use the rear-facing camera so that you can see all the wonderful comments and respond to them, then it's going to reverse the image. Whereas if you turn the camera around so that you can see what's written correctly on the board, you're not going to be able to see what's on the other side of the camera, which would be all the comments and everything. So yes, thank you for noticing that. I had to write all of this backwards so it would display forwards. Very, very observant, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that. Also explains my, maybe not my best handwriting. Lucine says, hi, Dr. Steve. Hello to you, Lucine. Brenda says, I almost missed you. Well, here we are. You didn't miss me. Thanks for being here. Andrea says, thank you, Dr. Steve, for the answer. You are very welcome. Anna says, what fun are you doing today? Well, I'll be creating programs that help people improve their lives. And for me, that is a lot of fun. Gracie says, took the program last year, but with other things happen, etc., I wasn't able to complete it in the time allowed. Still want to do it, but I am concerned with the timing. Okay, so go ahead and send an email to support@stapbrook.com and tell them that I approved you to carry on. They'll be able to look up your certification number, or not certified yet, but your student number, and they'll be able to approve that, Gracie. So tell them, and I'll let them know also that I've approved that. We do like to see people finish within a year so that their knowledge is fresh when they finish. Imagine doing something for a little while and then taking a few years off and then finishing it. The education becomes not really cohesive, so that's why we do that. But I'd be glad to make an exception for you, Gracie. Thank you. And for the rest of you, go ahead and check out stapbrook.com/NLP. You're going to see the best offer that I've ever made for you to learn NLP. You're probably going to be shocked, and if I didn't do this broadcast, you may not even believe that it's real. That's how shocking it is. So go ahead and learn NLP if you want to take your knowledge to the next level. Miss Rowley says, hello, Steve. Hello to you. Brenda says, my astral projection is going great. All right, Brenda, good to hear from you. Anna says, all right, take care. See you soon, Dr. Steve. All right, well, I'll be back on Monday for my regular broadcast. Kathy says, I am just learning all this. Paul has joined. Hello, Paul. Lucine says, thanks, Dr. Steve. I'm a Brazilian woman. I enjoy your live. Well, thank you. Rania says, thanks for this class and your answers. My pleasure. Miss Rowley says, still working on Saturday. Hey, well, I'm about to also, but I enjoy what I do. So hopefully you enjoy what you do, Miss Rowley. Edie says, hi, Steve. A great weekend for you. Well, thank you. Gracie says, I agree. Thanks. Liliana says, could you do that for me too? What you did for Gracie, I want to finish it as well. Did you to Module 5? Absolutely, Liliana. So you go ahead and write to support@stapbrook.com and let them know that I approved you also. So absolutely. And for anyone else who wants to get certified, you have got to check this out. I mean, you've learned, what have I been on? About 50 minutes now. Not even an hour, according to my clock. And in this program up here, you get 10 hours. 10 hours of video about NLP. Imagine that. And I'm not in these videos taking time to check in with people and all of that. I'm just purely teaching NLP. If you know me, you know that my programs contain no fluff whatsoever. I get to the point. I get down to business. I teach you what you need to learn. I don't spend time wasting your time with things that are not relevant. That's just the way I teach as an academically trained person. I just want to share with you. So what I'm saying is, at this link above, stackbrook.com/NLP, 10 hours of pure content. You're not going to believe the offer I'm making. You've got to see it for yourself. You've got to check it out. So I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. I will be looking forward to seeing you Monday for my regular broadcast. Hey, I want to point out also that it looks like we got rid of the negative frowny face with all of our positivity. So thank you. Either they got tired of being negative, which happens. It's difficult for people to stay negative that long, or they realized, hey, wait a minute, this is a positive environment, or they realized, hey, this is something that, nobody likes negativity here, so I'm going to go somewhere else. But whatever the case may be, thank you all for your love and support. Thank you for showing what a positive community is all about. Thank you for showing what the law of attraction can do. Thank you for being here. I'm Dr. Steve G. Jones, hoping you have an outstanding day.